Hello everyone and welcome back to TWIG or This Week in Gaming. I am your host Josh B with Merclane Gaming, and today we're covering all of the gaming news that happened at the Game Awards on Thursday, December 7th, 2023. There's a lot to cover with this Game Awards, so let's just jump right into it. To start with the long list of games shown off at the Games Awards, we had Windblown. This Hades-style action game is being made by the creators of Dead Cells and matches their brutal style. We got to see what looks like 3 playable characters, maybe hinting at multiplayer. Thrasher was then showed next, and it looks like a VR fishing game during an acid trip. Crazy colors and great music to match, all with what looks like you using a lure to lead something around the screen. Overall, it is hard to tell what is actually going on in this trailer, but we're kind of giving it our best guess. World of Goo has returned after 15 long years with a sequel, World of Goo 2. This goo-based physics game will have you using all types of goo to solve those puzzles. The next major surprise was a Mass Effect-looking game titled Exodus. This game was actually introduced by the main star of the game being Matthew McConaughey. This space shooter is set in the very far future with a cosmic threat called the Celestials to fight. We can't wait to get more gameplay shown as it gets closer to release. From the creators of Untitled Goose Game, we got an equally as bizarre game named Big Walk. It looks like a 4-player puzzle game with weird bird people as the characters. You explore the world and solve strange and wild puzzles through various different means. Kemuri is a game from a new studio made by Akumi Nakamura after leaving Tango. This game is still very early on and doesn't really even have a publisher yet, but it does look to be like some sort of action game with you fighting yokai in the heart of Japan. We can't wait to see what this game turns into and how it will play. No Rest for the Wick appears to be the Ori developers' take on an isometric action RPG. Besides the great title, it appears to be set in a knights and magic setting with a great art style to match it. They claim to show us more on March 1st. Next up was a crazy set of 5 games getting new versions from Sega. This list includes 5 of their older but still beloved games, those being Jetstar Radio, their rollerblading and spray painting game, Shinobi, their side-scroller platformer, Crazy Taxi, a wild and wacky driving game, Streets of Rage, which is an older beat-em-up game, and Golden Axe, which was originally a side-scrolling beat-em-up style of game, but looks to be a full third-person action game now. All of these games were announced in under 90 seconds, and they ended it with more to come with these. Another surprise came next with the casting of Frank Stone. This horror cinematic experience game is taking place in the Dead by Daylight universe. It's being made by the Dead by Daylight developers and Supergiant Games. A surprise partnership for sure, but we just can't wait to see what more comes out of this. Next, we got a return to the Mana series with Visions of Mana. It looks like it has taken full action combat and world exploration. We're happy to see a return of the Mana franchise and can't wait to see what else they show off for this game. And for the biggest and most confusing announcement for the show, we had the OD from Kojima game. It had the most bewildering trailer with people repeating something about purple dinosaurs. Following that, Kojima explained that this is a game, movie, and a whole new type of media, whatever that means. He then announced that he is working on OD alongside Jordan Peele. We're interested to see what exactly this project or game or movie is and how it might be played or even watched. Next up was the new 2D action platformer game titled Tales of Kenzera. In this African culture inspired game, you will play a young shaman who has recently lost his father. You will use your shaman powers to switch between different masks as you play. One mask seems to be more ice-based with range attacks, while the other is a fire mask, which is more melee focused. It's great to see a new and unique game out of nowhere, and we'll surely update you on any news coming from this game. Now for a new horror survival game, we got one with a great concept and location. Jurassic Park Survival is a game set in the original Jurassic Park where you play as someone trapped on the islands trying to live and escape on their own. We got a new game coming from the Life is Strange developers named Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. They didn't really show any gameplay, but we can kind of guess it will play just like the other Life is Strange games. It looks to take place years after some life-changing events for 4 girls as you try to solve what happened that night. And for a game that got leaked before the show, but no one really believed it was true. A Marvel's Blade game is being made by the Arcane Studios, which is pretty wild. It's set to be similar to the Arcane style single-player games, but now as a third-person game. We can't wait to see what they do with the Blade IP on its 50th anniversary. We then got a game from Lightspeed Studios named Last Sentinel. It is set to be a AAA open-world game set in future Tokyo. They didn't really give us any gameplay, but the idea and trailer seemed interesting, and we look forward to seeing more of it. Mecha Break was the next game shown, and it looks like a more anime-inspired version of Armored Core. Big open areas with mechs fighting with guns, lasers, or melee weapons. It looks like it will have multiplayer as well, but we're really not sure. The mechs themselves look very good and very Gundam-inspired, and we're just waiting to see what sets it apart from Gundam and Armored Core. We then got a new game from the makers of Payday 1 and 2 and GTFO named Den of Wolves. We didn't get to see that much, but it looks and was also described to be a space payday. The game is going to be all about robbing space corporates and, whatever else. Hopefully this game will get just as much love as Payday 2 did. The makers of No Man's Sky announced an equally ambitious game named Light No Fire. It looks to be a medieval fantasy survival game with the goal of simulating an entire Earth-sized world. Their crazy goal for it is to have the same amount of detail as our own Earth. We'll definitely be updating you on anything that comes out from this game because it looks awesome. Stormgate got some more gameplay shown at this event and an early access launch date. This RTS game made by former StarCraft devs is set to release on early access the summer of 2024. And lastly, for our biggest announcement of games shown at the games event, we got the new Monster Hunter game. This new game will be titled Monster Hunter Wilds and is set to come out in 2025, and man, it looks great. There's a lot of little things that you can pick up from the gameplay shown, but the biggest one seems to be that it's just open world. We get a new mount to replace the Palmute for Rise. This new mount is a bird wyvern-like creature that runs fast, jumps far, and glides distances. We can't wait to see what else this game brings to the series and how this open world will feel. And lastly, from the Game Awards, we have Baldur's Gate 3 now being playable on Xbox. It seems like they actually forgot to announce this, as this is kind of a big deal, but we're just happy that even more people will be able to experience this amazing game that truly earned their Game of the Year award. And that will be it for our coverage on the Game Awards for this year. We'll make sure to bring you any updates about these games as they come to be, so be sure to stay tuned in. Don't forget to also like and subscribe for more content coming in the future of all things gaming. This has been Josh B from Merclane Gaming, and we will see you next week for another episode of This Week in Gaming.